Yalla, kick in the door, wave in the 4-4. All you heard was Hamin, don't hit me no more, infidels, and it's time to hit back. I know there's a double stream up there, but we're live. You'll find us one place or another, youtube.com/AmarOVW, as we keep it locked at patreon.com/Hamin Media Group, where we get all the bugs worked out. But we're here to pester you this morning, infidels. It's the Monday Locker Room. Big RBV, birthday Hamin, back in action. Y'all.
I was going to say, Vid, kick things off. The birthday boy in the house. Blow the candles out.
That's right.
What it's all about, man. Any big plans for your day, for your day, the day of Hamin?
Social media, editing, and promotions of all of our great brands here at Hamin Media Group, man. That's I had a great weekend with my wives and my buddies, and retaking Afghanistan. We've been celebrating a lot. So, it's just another day on a Monday. So I guess watching Raw is my big birthday present. So back to Guantanamo Bay torture all day, man. But no, I appreciate that, man. Thanks to everybody who's sent messages and whatnot and praising me as you should, and going to Pro Wrestling Tees or Cameo, wherever you're going. Or I've had a lot of good signups. I want to say thanks to people who are with us during the time as we rebuild Realm in a much more structured way, that have signed up for patreon.com/Hamin Media Group. So you're getting the shows if you can't. I've been trying to go live while we're down just to give back a little something. And fuck it, it's my birthday. I'll do whatever I want to, and there's nobody who can stop me at all. So y'all, man. I don't know about tonight, but just another day here back in the studio with who you know.
I'll tell you, it was nice, and I know it's how important the move to Realm is, but unfortunately, what a difference the week makes is Mr. Russo actually called while we were recording last week, and I have a feeling that's when he wanted to start talking to you about the news of, I don't want to call it a shutdown, but a halt in operation as you guys retool it.
I got to put over a troll already. This pops me, Mars Mira, while you're back after a failed paywall. Shocking. It'll be in 2 weeks. It'll be back behind the paywall, but good for you getting your shit in. And Hamin Media Group actually had the most signups on Realm Network. So, but again, these trolls know it all. So it pops me. Good. Get your heat this morning. Definitely just be ready for the revenge and the payback when it comes back on you 3 times as hard. What is it? Mars Mira, Moron Mira. Man. I mean, I can stop this stream right now and put it behind the paywall behind Patreon if that's what everybody wants. I got no problems with that.
Okay, well, we're just those greedy sons of bitches,
Yeah,
this machine just is oiled for free.
I'm so rich just from working all you guys and fucking, I don't work at all.
I do want to say there, not to continue to put them over here, but I don't think it was ever stated the shows would always be free. The intention was to keep them as free as long as we possibly could.
Sure.
But in any form of business, as you evolve and grow, you're going to take on financial responsibilities, and that investment's already been there as the team has continued to grow, the programming grows. And really just the opportunities of the quality of product that we can provide you. And unfortunately, in a lot of those ways, you have to go behind some sort of wall to protect yourself.
It's fine with me, man. People can think whatever the fuck they want. They're not the ones putting in 95 hours a week doing editing and making sure that shows go out. So, everyone's got their opinions, but are they the ones stepping up to fill the void if they're that gung-ho about free content? I would love to be able to keep my platform free, but after YouTube being demonetized, Twitch taking us down as well, I mean, if there's nothing coming in and I can't speak how I want to speak, then why would I continue to stay on that side where I have to worry about every day waking up off a strike, off of something that I recorded 3 years ago, so they don't get it. They just want to be the peanut gallery, but someday maybe they'll be their own bosses and understand how the world really works. But I'm not here or there to sell for anybody like that, because I'm the one who's put in 30 years. I own every fucking day of it. And none of that shit gets me, what do they think? I give a fuck what you think. I'll slap you across your motherfucking face and you'll pay me $5 for it, because that's the level of leader and the level of mark that most people are, man, so nothing really fucking gets me going too bad.
Where we go? Well, we'll see. Hey, the chat room's doing my job for the week, trying to hit that hot spot for Hamin.
Yeah, my man Serge in the house. Good to see you, Sergio, my OVW brother. Man, hopefully you're doing well in Kentucky down there. Everything's going well. It was crazy here. Like last week, I know we got hit with the rains. I know Long Island and Baltimore got smashed this weekend, but where I am I thought the missile silo was going to get flooded, man, because thankfully we invested in the reinforced walls, but only about 4 blocks away where I walked the dogs of war on the trail, dude, like the whole park was a lake. There's one river that flows through the middle of it, but it looked like a lake from overhead with the drone footage. A lot of people had a lot of damage. So mainly I'm thankful that I wasn't grabbing everything out of the fucking studio and running it up the over to the elevator to go up to the top of the silo, So yeah, man, it was a crazy weekend that way. But also then when it cleared up, went to the state fair, fucking $3 to get in for the free show. And they started off on the first night of the fair with more diversity than they usually do. I mean, there's a lot of country and old school rednecks around here and shit like that they'll bring in. But I saw Nas for $3, man, and he fucking annihilated it. He did an old school show for fans, for real Nas fans, not some like, hey, my 4 or 5 free songs, as far as that goes. So it's just one of those things when you get the chance to see somebody who's at the top of their game. I don't care. I mean, I'm a big Nas fan and hip hop fan, but even if you weren't, like, 2 of my buddies who went know some of the hits, but when you see somebody at that level perform, it's damn impressive always. And the sound was great. And they had redone the concert place when we used to go there, watch Demolition Derby and shit like that. It was like big 1980s, like, here's the track and fucking here comes Gravedigger or whatever the fuck. But they redid the whole thing. It was like watching a concert on a golf course with beautiful ponds, sunsets, and the sound was phenomenal. So after a long week, of getting stuff out and production, it was nice to get away and see somebody who performs at the top of their game, like getting to see a Jordan, you know what I mean? And I had a really good time with that before we had to settle in for 5 hours of SummerSlam. But I had to watch Punk's debut the next day and all that shit,
Well, I was gonna say we got plenty of wrestling. If you were complaining about not getting your full wrestling, there was a ton of it this weekend. We're gonna kind of go all over touch base, but hey, you talked about the state fair there. We got a big festival coming up here in the Southern Ohio area, the Southern Ohio, Indiana area coming up Thursday. Hamin's going to be on his way to VV, Indiana, to partake in my PWA show. We also got Congo Kong's going to be there, your tag team partner. He's going to be colliding. I didn't realize these two have never met before. It is going to be a throwdown. Shane Taylor from Ring of Honor and Congo Kong. I mean, that's 2 super heavyweights right there.
Yeah, man. We'll see how well Shane Taylor fails with Congo Kong and Hacker Hamin in the house. It could be one of his worst days ever. So he's got to have eyes in the back of his head, as well as the infidel Amos, the biggest alcoholic in all of Indiana, who I plan on taking to the Betty Ford Clinic with a $5 face slap to knock the 12-step program right into him. We're gonna put that infidel on the ground in record time. I can't wait, man. So I'll be at the Swiss Wine Festival, the Catalina Wine Mixer, Vive, Indiana, this Thursday. Infidel, free admission to celebrate my birthday. Y'all,
there we go. Ben, what this entire week, as we talked about, what a difference the week makes. As we ended the show last week, I got a phone call, had to rush to Cleveland for some medical issues with my mom. I didn't get to watch any news this week. I did get my wrestling in, but was there any headlines? I saw this morning. I got to find some kind of headlines here. Let's pop on a couple of the news.
Big one that people want that I got hit up with was the Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch stuff.
I've been outside of the wrestling stuff. We'll get in all that, but I saw that that they have set a dead. They've drawn the line in the sand. We got till the 31st to get out of Afghanistan. So are you buying any of these threats from your boys in the Taliban?
Oh, I mean, it was easy to make them fold in 96 hours to take over. And then the president who escaped has now been indoctrinated into the Taliban. I said, it's your life or you join us. And he was smart. So, yeah, man, it's a full 20 years of lies. And now everybody right before the big 20th anniversary of our greatest fireworks show ever, they have to eat a big spoonful of shit. And it's by design. It's supposed to be a mental torture. People think it's just some random haphazard thing, and it's not. All this is to induce more fear and loathing and more PTSD. So when they want to strike and start firing off those Raytheon missiles again, everyone's like, get them. So Taliban, Sharia law up, man. It's going to be all that, where people will be executed in the stadiums once again. Anybody who worked with the Americans and doesn't say death to America will be put into whatever prisons and tortured again. So it's a complete loss after 20 years of raping lithium and heroin from the country, and under the guise of a CIA hit on their own country. So it's going to be interesting in the next, I don't know, 3 months, I'd say. We'll see if there's a 20th anniversary surprise as well, because if so, I saw you can look it up in the New York Post, maybe 4 weeks ago, the U.S. Army and National Guard and first responders in New York all started training for America's Worst Day. So usually before every false flag attack, there's a training exercise 6 to 8 weeks beforehand. And if this was 3 to 4 weeks ago, I think it was right in the beginning of August. You can look it up. It's easy to find. Why would you be running these things before the fall of Afghanistan? Like, it just is like, too many things line up coincidentally, and there are no coincidences. So good time, man, all the way around.
So this I was trying to think of a good way to twist this in here. I want to throw something at you on your birthday too.
All right.
After 20 years of what is what's fueled the Hamin Act, can you book for us, since we had such an exciting weekend of wrestling? Can you book for us the Hamin face turn?
The Hamin face turn is when we need a devil that's larger than me. So you have to come up with somebody with a lot of heat that is run through every baby face, and then he has a management baby. He could be a she too, I guess. He or she has the management at a pin in a corner, and they have to go get the devil that they hated beforehand to come and slay that devil. So that it would take somebody with a lot, because how do you make a baby face?
Well, you got to have the ultimate heel there.
Right. You got to pay off the heat on the heel. So it's like an outside, like, let's say I was at 2CW and there was a big heel from some other place that comes in and takes everybody out and comes in your own house. Well, I'm already in that house and it's mine, and I can turn and do all that dastardly shit to represent them, to unleash the monster that they didn't want to have to. So that would be one way, or it depends where I am in the country. If I went to Lebanon as bin Hamin al-Amariki and worked with Mohammed Sharif and all his crew, man, I could be a baby one place and in another different. So, but yeah, that would be an easy way to do it. Another way would be to go full satire with it and get rid of the beard and become like a candidate to run for president and do the whole thing.
Vote for Hamin. I love it there.
Yeah.
I like how you're talking about it's all situational. Is going back when we were running Greenfield, which is huge Trump country.
Yeah.
Rednecks, as long as far as you can see, we had a guy who was a correctional officer beat up a black guy in a ski mask. And it was great. It was a great reaction. I mean, the crowd loved it.
Right.
But when those guys got done, and they went out there and absolutely killed it. They worked their butts off. But I remember talking to him afterwards. We're back in the locker room, and it was like, guys, that was awesome. He's like, now remember though, if we would have had this show 20 miles away in Columbus, Ohio, they would have been cheering the dude in the ski mask and booing the hell out of the correctional officer. And they could have had the exact same match. It got a completely different reaction from that audience.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's about where you are, and if you're, in out in the country, and there's a team in Chicago. I think they might even be from LA. I'm not sure. I really like their gear. They're called themselves the N-words, and it's two black guys, but they have like NWO, but it's broken. So it says NW, and then on the outside they have RDS.
I've seen those guys before.
Dude, great tag team, and they know how to work their gimmick. But in Chicago, over as fuck. you'd march them out 2 hours outside to Indiana, and they'll be the biggest heels on the show, unless I'm on there. You know what I mean? Like those guys know how to do both. And if you want them to come out and do something, like I remember we were playing Cincinnati OVW shows, and my man Charles the Hammer Evans, you know, Army drill sergeant, jacked, you know, in Kentucky, he's over, but sometimes he'd have to be the big smasher heel, dude. He'd come out to that Cincinnati show where it was all African-American kids, and this guy is a god to them, you know what I mean? And he's got them all jumping up and down and stuff, but in the middle of his heel run, you know? So it depends if you're doing a spot show and you have the crowd there. You just know, like, as a booker, like, all right, we might have TV business and they might follow it, but at the same time, let's make a moment for these kids, you know, that have a tough enough life and they want to see a larger than life guy that looks like them, you know? So it's up to the booker to do it in a smart way, unless you're playing out a storyline that has to have heat. But if it's a spot show like that, you just look at your talent and see who's gonna be the most over, you know?
Yeah, we had yesterday, and just that's you know what really drives it home. It's you're sitting there watching the show yourself as a part of it. And I was working production on it yesterday up in Chillicothe, Ohio. It was a hot one. It was outside basketball court, 24 on air, but close to 100 degrees, man. It was a heater. One of our guys, and we ended up having, you know, there was a huge kid audience there. I mean, it was pretty overwhelming, and they get so involved with it. One of our guys, B.A. Bundy, was out there, and he's really working them over. And his opponent comes over and gets him, and he's holding them back, and they're letting the kids just give him chops. And you just see the looks on their face and the pops, and it keeps them into the show. And it's
I mean, and you have to judge that too. Like, you might have this whole match in your mind of this is part of our story, and we got to do this, that, or the other, and get hardcore. But then if you have a sea of kids, you just got to go boo yay. You know what I mean? You got to give something for them to interact, or GGP is great at this. So shut up, I'm talking, silence. And then, no, they just want that. They want that more than they want any moves. They want to be acknowledged.
You are my tribal chief.
And then they want to give back that energy and be told to shut up. And then they want to see you take one big thing and they come up. And those spots are way easier to work, but you kind of can't call that until you're there and see what your audience is and know what's going on. You know, it's all, and if you're on in the main event and you the first ones are out there, you usually would ask the guys, like, how is it? And they're like, oh, it's hot, red hot, but it's a lot of little kids. That, to me, every wrestler should know that. Do half the moves and do twice, 3 times the character. Because why would you take bumps when you can just get a USA chant going, you know? Like,
go out and work the audience for 5 minutes, go bump for 2 minutes and get out.
Exactly. So don't be, but then there's indie workers who got a fucking Hurricane Rana, get up, super kick, duck one, hip toss. Like, okay, bro, you go ahead and do all that shit that's self-serving so you can feel like you're fucking Spider-Man. I'm going to go out and steal the show and take one bump, and that one bump will mean everything because I'll have brought them in with character. But that's the difference between a veteran performer and a self-serving weekend warrior, you know?
Oh, I did want to show this to everyone. I was surprised. RBV, I got my own merch. That surprised me. I was on a face mask this week. So
awesome.
The voice of Ohio. I don't know if we sold any of them, but it was created. So I'm doing better than Nikki Ash when it comes to merch. So
yeah, you're already up on her. Referee goddamn Sideburns has got his own immortal shirt that says respect Sideburns with two of them on there. So yeah, man, it's going to be a good time, but I think that Indiana crowd, I feel like I worked a show in Chillicothe, Indiana, way back OVW.
Chillicothe's up in Ohio.
Or Ohio, I mean, sorry.
Just a little, you guys probably did run in that area. It's like southeast of Columbus there. Maybe about 30 minutes southeast of Columbus. I mean, it would have been right in that wheelhouse. You guys could have hit like a West Virginia spot and then made kind of the circle over. A tremendous town, great passion. So it was just damn hot, but we got through it. We got through it.
Man, it's August, so too. And the other thing, kind of not a blessing, I guess, but this would have been my father's big Woodsman's WrestleMania event. You know what I mean? 40,000, but because a pandemic was canceled and the way it rained here on the entire infield of where we would have been having the show, there was a foot and a half of water in some spots, bro. So that would have been a nightmare scenario of like staying up there all week in tents and then wake up and you're floating away down across the campground. So, but it was good. A lot of my memories from, man, I think it was 8 years ago now. Yeah, 2013, where we had take him to the woodshed, 2CW, 2 nights where I got to work Hacksaw, one of the only real lumberjack matches of all time. And Jessica Havoc and I beat the shit out of Dick Justice the next night on the main stage. But dude, that was a great, probably one of the greatest wrestling experiences I ever had, because I got to fight with my father on the outside, and that was a good time with Hacksaw. But the whole 2CW squad was there camping, and it was just like the perfect morale building thing. And everybody in 2CW still talks about what a great time that was. Because usually, even if we do a double shot, like we'll be in Binghamton and Syracuse or wherever, back to back, we would all be together and have a good time. And it was more like, most wrestling organizations do one and then I'll see you in 6 weeks. So that was always special about 2CW. But to have that show, everybody still talks about it. And I hope that wrestling organizations get a chance to do that kind of stuff. If you have a chance to book multiple days on a big fair event like that, or your state fair, it really brings your locker room together. That was more, the shows were great, they were awesome, but that for the boys meant everything. So it was cool to see those memories pop up.
Very, very nice. What you talked about, excitement and buzz. Let's jump into some of this wrestling news. And I think the big jumping in point, I know we got a lot of topics here in the chat that people wants to hit on, but I don't think there's any better place to start than Friday in what was simply, it was incredible. It was intense, and it was the return of CM Punk.
Sure, man.
I admittedly, I wasn't the biggest Punk fan in the world. I wasn't sure, how I was going to kind of pursue, take in what was happening there with AEW, but that was simply incredible. Chicago brought it. The shots there, the crowd, the intensity, the emotion from Punk himself. Hey, what really set it off for me, I love the interaction with Darby and Sting. Sting looked intense as hell inside of that segment there, but absolutely incredible. Your takes on Punk's return here?
Yeah, man. I mean, that for Chicago is what people have been wanting for 7 years, and they got it. And the ice cream bar thing on the end was a great fuck you. I love that.
Oh, those were all over social media. People sharing the photos of the ice cream bars.
Yeah, but that's like, what dropped. I mean, so many drop balls at WWE are just fuck yous. You're not going to get it because you wanted it and went into business for yourself. So we're not going to make millions of dollars to prove a point to you. And then the fuck you takes 7 years to come back. Not fuck me, no, fuck you. So I like that little stamp on the end. That's very Punk. Yeah, man. I love that. I love energy like that. Group energy is insane. I'm not trying to liken it to this, but you saw it with Hitler and what he could do to a group of people just to like, and frenzy them. That massive 10 to 15,000 energy where you can almost see it. You know what I mean? You can almost see the love or the shock factor of him coming out, and it was a good way to set it off. I've had issues with the way he's done things in the past, but I'm not here to like down a guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I mean, I do that enough when things are bad, so I'm not going to do it when things are good. And that was great, not just for AEW, but for the business. You know what I mean? Because of what CM Punk did, I'll make more money. People will be more invigorated to go see wrestling, which means the crowds will be up. I bet indie shows are up 10 to 20% just based on Punk being back. And I know that doesn't seem like it would be, but it's the fact of the buzz of putting wrestling back in the spin of people's what they want to spend their extra money on, possibly. I mean, they might not get to see Punk, but here's this thing and let's go because the buzz is there. So I got to say that we're all going to do a little bit better because he's back. And for that, I'm grateful. Like I said, I've seen him personally. I've seen him do things to other people. Never me. He was always cool to me because I bust my ass and I was kind of in like the fringe of the cool kids club. But I also have seen things where I'm like, character flaw. And usually every big baby face is kind of a dick backstage. But, the fact that he sold out 15,000, no one's going to take that away from him. And that alone, it doesn't matter what the fuck I say, good, bad, or whatever. That's an impressive metric. And even if it's in his hometown and it's all his own people, and people who've been wanting to see it, then so be it. No one can take that away from him, that after 7 years and 1 week of internet buzz that he can sell out the United Center and people going nuts. Now, the other part of that is WWE's like, oh, you think you're over? Fuck you, watch this. 51,000 sellout. And that stadium was packed to the rafters. So, there's the aha. You think you're up and you're up and stuck. You think you're fucking fed's over. We'll do 3-4 times the number you did. But at the end of the day, from wrestling being the shits the last 8, 10 years, 12 years, they sold out both houses, bro. 65,000, in 1 week. That makes me feel good as a pro wrestler. Or a lot of times you're embarrassed with this. You see the houses and you're like, the creative sucks and there's no moments made whatsoever. There were a lot of moments this weekend on both shows. And, there's definitely things WWE could have done differently. And AEW is just starting to go from crawling to their first toddler steps. But I got to tip my hat to both feds. I think they really did something for the fan base and to ignite a little fire under the world of wrestling. Now, when it comes to WWE, they'll probably fuck that up within 2 shows and go right.
Hey, the countdown's on until Monday to see if they can drop the ball here. But as you said that, we're getting a few people here, and somebody had mentioned something about the merchandise. I mean, the pictures of the merchandise lines were incredible.
Sure.
People going through trash cans looking for the ice cream wrappers so they can sell them on eBay. Hey, if there's that demand. And even if you're not a Punk guy, I think what's most important is from this entire weekend is to get out there and if you're excited about this, share it with other people. Try to bring in new fans to help grow the bubble. As you said, Ben, it trickles down. I can remember going to indie shows, and it was never hotter than the Attitude Era because people just wanted wrestling. And the indie shows would be packed, a couple hundred people at these things. Now you can go to some of these shows, and they're lucky to break 100.
One of my favorite things though, when I get to do merch or whatever, like there'll be somebody there with a CM Punk shirt on or a Stone Cold shirt on, and they'll be, missing a couple chromosomes and probably about 100 pounds overweight. Or they'll be a skinny meth head look and they'll be, be wearing a CM Punk thing with their fake belt. And then I walk by like, oh, yes, look at you, CM Punk. You look like shit. Or Stone Cold, really let yourself go. And like all the boys will pop as they're trying to make money. I'm a heel. I don't give a fuck if people want to buy my shit, it's because they're smart marks. It's not because that, Ben Hamin's my favorite wrestler. If that's the truth, I'm doing something wrong. If I'm your favorite, it should be because you're a smart mark and you can't believe the shit I'm saying. You know what I mean? So that's my go-to just to make my little bit off of merch, which I probably shouldn't even be out there, but fuck it. It's the indies. I'm going to get paid and get my heat. So I like when Punk is back because all the marks break out their bullshit, straight edge society shit. And I can rip on them for being meth heads, heroin addicts, looks like you fell off the wagon from that straight edge. How's the meth around here? And like everybody knows it because I'll just call it out for what it is. So there's a lot of babyface things like when wrestling's hot that I can turn on a dime and make people feel shitty. And then when I have my match, they're that much hotter, Yes.
Well, the other big show. I mean, there was no pun intended, I guess there, but there was a handful of shows. Ring of Honor was in action. You had NXT in action, but let's switch gears. Let's talk about some SummerSlam.
Frank's asking me if I'm working September Titan show. I think I'm done with Titan, man. Envelopes were too light for a 5-hour drive. I liked seeing and hanging out with you, Frank, but the last go home speech didn't I probably should be breaking fade, whatever. Was identical. It was a 20-minute self-serving speech that I've heard at 2 other feds right before they went out of business, and it was like just trying to work the boys. And referee Sideburns and I looked at each other and we're like, deja vu. Like the wife is the girlfriend is splitting off and going to North Carolina, but don't worry, I'm going to be here for the next 6 months to a year, and then don't think we're not going to start. Well, it was Dynasty before. We're in Titan Championship Wrestling in North Carolina. Same state, same premise, same chick leaving, same promoter following, same promise to the boys of now we're going to run New York and North Carolina, New Jersey and North. Oh, are we? I'm sure we're not. I guarantee we're not. So, for 5 hours, I like performing with Blaze and I like performing in new spots, but unless they're going to triple my pay where I usually am with other places, it's just not fiscally smart to do it. And that drive home after a show is a motherfucker getting home at 4 or 5 in the morning, man. And just to deal with, and like, I don't give a fuck. The other part of that speech was like the other local indie that's trying to sabotage them. So now we got to be company guys and fuck those guys and don't sell for it. They're jealous. And there was a little company called ECW that was just like us. And in fact, we're ahead of where they are. So if you guys kick ass, they're going to tell their friends, and then the houses are going to go up and envelopes are going to do all this fucking rah-rah, like indie promoter shit. I'm telling you, Rick, if you get to this point and you find yourself saying these words, quit right now. Like that, because then they're local hometown guys who worked their asses off. I no hate to that locker room whatsoever. All good workers there, man. Are all like having to toe the line, like, yeah, boss. And I'm going, countdown clock is 6 weeks away for this shit being done, bro. Like
I think I know where you're going to go with this one, but maybe you can share it with the listeners and explain the whys and why nots here. I've seen so many indie shows where they have those big locker room meetings and the rah-rah moment, and immediately the first thing Beast told me is like, we're not doing that. I said, we'll treat this professional. I'll go talk to, the people individually. You can have your personal conversations with people, but we're staying in. And he's told me certain things like this about never use these terms.
Yeah.
This is how you talk to people.
You're because the spotlight's on you and you're the one with the envelope. So anything you say to the workers, they're breaking down and analyzing, because you're not going to work a worker. Even if you were one, which most of these guys weren't, they were fans that became promoters and they want to be Vince or whatever they think it is that they saw back on, what was a not Wrestling with Tragedy, fucking the 97 shit with Mankind and Brett and all that fucking
Wrestling with Shadows.
Yeah, whatever it is. But like there's a locker room speech and that, and everybody thinks now they have to fucking be that, or the Paul Heyman,
Yeah, you always heard that with Hamin about how he can rally the whole locker room.
And I don't have a problem with those speeches, but like it gets to a point where you've been told one thing and you've lived through it so many times in 15 years in what the truth is, that I can spot it. And, I don't want any feds to go away. I want the boys to earn and have a good place in their home fed to make shit over. And I'm thankful to have brought in and work with Blaze there. I'm not saying I had a bad time or anything. It's just, and when it comes to those speeches, I like having them, but mine are 2 minutes. And it's, guys, there's a lot of little kids out there. We don't need to do a bunch of shit and dives and crazy shit. We're going to take care of each other. We're going to hit our times, 8 to 10 minutes. Don't go over or you won't be back. And, and also, just whatever this is, make sure this guy is taken care of injury wise. Thank the top name veteran for being there, helping with the draw of the house. That's something that I think is important to do. You know what I mean? And tell everybody to have, put the fear in them. The commission's out there. So no using chairs. If you get fined, that's going to be on you. And and all that kind of shit. If there's one or two guys who want to go into biz for themselves. And then I just say thank you and go kick ass and work safe. Boom, I'm in and out. It's not like this Fed is going to change the fucking business.
It starts here now.
It's so bad.
It's the revolution.
It's like, and I've sat through that. I've sat through that 4 different times I've sat through it probably 20 times, but I've sat through it. 4 Feds have closed after hearing that speech. So that just comes with the fucking territory, man. You got to make your troops drink the Kool-Aid to some degree, but if you're a real worker, you heard this shit, and in your mind, your eyes are just rolling back and forth. All me and Sideburns had to do was just look at each other on the side of the eye, and we knew the whole story already because we lived it, you know.
You talk about the state commission yesterday. We're getting ready to go. You work through all those pre-show issues and all that. We had some stuff with our sound system, and so we get through it all. We're getting ready to. All right, let's go. Green light it, and I see a truck pull up, and it's got a Ohio government plate on it, and I'm about to shit like, oh damn, they're here.
Yeah,
the state commission's here. It ended up being the garbage guy for the park we were holding the show.
He's probably a commissioner too. He might have double duty.
Yeah, there you go. I could have swore they were going to come check on us, but no, he gets out and start getting garbage bags out. And I was like, oh, God, thank God. So it was all right. It was all right.
Garbage bags. That was his new pants from High Spots. The pleather. Oh, shit.
Let's get into some big talk here from SummerSlam. And I was a little disappointed in this thing, just for the fact of they had promised us when the fight was scheduled to go on, they were going to keep this thing short and sweet, but yeah, man, we ran really long here. 11 matches. And that would be my only complaint with the show, really.
Dude, 7 at night till 12, 10 in the morning, bro. I mean, come on, B. What are we doing? And things on the show like this was the most head scratching, and like, why would you even fucking do this? Here comes Boogs. Yeah, Boogs is gonna fucking play out Shinsuke. They do the thing. And then there's no match. They go to the girls segment. They gave Shinsuke an entrance, and that was it, bro. Then they just walked to the back after they cut to the package. Like, there was no spot, no nothing. Like, why is that even on the show? You know what I mean? Like, that's not.
Is it a case of it's been such a well-received entrance, those spots during the programming?
That doesn't mean you heard, and then that's the worst thing to do is to whore it out.
But I think, they just, in their mind, they think going to the well like that's going to work. But it
makes everybody go like, what happened to Shinsuke and what stupid shit was that? You know what I mean? Like, if anything, you could start that and they get jumped in the fucking, in the entrance while they're doing it. By who? Who did we just see fucking that's just like Boogs end his fucking career?
Elias, right?
Elias should have jumped both of them from behind and beat the fuck out of them and taken it away and got heat. Now tonight or on SmackDown next week, that's where the fucking, the shit kicks off with them. But instead, we all just look stupid that we marked out for an entrance and now there's no match. Whatever, dude. It's choices like that WWE just shoots himself in the foot after doing something great, bro.
Well, we'll kind of jump around on some of these headlines. I know that a lot of people want to get into what's going on. The one of the big returns here on this show is it's a weekend of returns. Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
She is the surprise opponent for Bianca Belair, and she takes the title in 27 seconds.
Real bad. I mean, not good at all. Whether it's Sasha having COVID or whatever it is, and you got to put a Band-Aid on it, but Becky Lynch is so great that she can't call a 6-minute match with Bianca Belair, that we got to do some weird squash because Becky's got ring rust and isn't ready. I don't know. I can't believe that. I did watch a little clip this morning from Brie Mode. Brie Daniels, is that what her name is? Bella?
Yeah.
Where she, like, Bianca was just off camera and like they were asking her at the after party on the red carpet, what did you like about SummerSlam? She goes, well, I'll tell you what I didn't like, the way that they had Bianca lose to Becky so quickly. And she goes, and to be honest with you, I didn't think there was any good moments in SummerSlam. I was like, wow.
Taking a shot.
I like that, dude. It was a real shoot, like from women who, because the Bellas put it, they act like they're the fucking ones who were the ones who established and da 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 da. Even though their wrestling is dangerous and not really believable, but still, that was some serious bang bang on them. Now, to break down the Becky Lynch segment, good pop, coming back. And even like taking too long with her promo to like, hey, I'm over. Okay, it's a big 50,000 crowd. I get it. You got to go slow. But what was super bad was Bianca marking out like a fan as the champion, like beforehand, like jumping up and down. Oh my God. Like, nah, you're champ, B. Now you look like a fucking fangirl. And as opposed to what you should be of like, shit just picked up and I got to face one of the best women's champs of all time. She was marking out. She was there. Then Becky gets the crowd up with babyface. We think we're going to have a baby ROH match. And then in the handshake, Becky heels out on her and beats her. Boom, back elbow, cut off, rock bottom, 1, 2, 3. And that's a monster heel fucking move. But then she grabs the belt to start stunting like a babyface. So the violence didn't match the message at all. And she's just staying out there camera shooting because she's back. That's not what a heel does. A heel leaves with her heat. Then Bianca goes up the ramp and is doing the fake acting of, oh my God, B, oh my God, in the corner. That's not how you would act at all, especially if you were just marking out for your hero and you lost your title. You'd be in full tears. I can't believe what just happened. And running to the back while the camera followed you because you don't want the crowd to see the emotion overcoming you in a real moment. Instead, we get this terrible acting of like, look back. And then she goes up the fucking big ramp and looks back again. And dude, that was one of the most overplayed, non-believable scenes where the violence didn't match the comeback. And then after you heel out, you're acting like a baby again. After you, like if she did that on a heel, like Charlotte and beat her, then that's different. Bianca's over as a baby face, big time, or was. And to not have the match, the crowd felt completely cheated, bro. Like that should have been, to be honest with you, Becky could have put Bianca over there in a fucking great little technical match where out of nowhere of back and forth wrestling and trying to get one-upsmanship, Bianca does something cool pin-wise and gets Becky and gets her in a trap and just beats her. And even puts her over at the end of thank you so much. It's been an honor you're my favorite to wrestle you. And Bianca retains and Becky holds her hand up. Da 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 da. All that feel good moment was washed away and the violence was wrong. And then Bianca just came off looking like a D actress, bro. Like the fact that we didn't do show don't tell with her running up the ramp crying and like trying to follow her to the, like where she's sobbing, you know what I mean? And Ford and Dawkins later we could come back to check on her like, nah, she's not in a good place right now. You guys can't be here. You know what I mean? So phony, so set up, and the wrong bit booking completely as far as I'm concerned.
Well, on the Belair front here, actually we talked in depth about it last week and we've regularly touched on it. I know you've hit on all the shows you're involved with there, especially the Friday night self-therapy. They have like the direction with Belair has just been so incredibly asinine. Is there any coming back from this hole after this point? I mean, as you said, I mean, still on the verge of being that tremendous baby face. People love her. They don't really understand what they have in her, but still people are gravitating towards her. I mean, this has got to be a serious blow.
I'd say so. And everything's a test. And maybe backstage, she was acting markish, because if I see that in the ring, who knows backstage what's going on? You know what I mean? And they could have done that to test her, or maybe she buried herself and they're just doing it with a smile and they're going to take it off of her real quick to put it on Becky and put her on the shelf that way. But dude, you had a FloJo, a Simone Biles. What's that?
Here we go. We got from ringside, they are saying here that Becky Lynch squashing Bianca Belair was 100% a Vince McMahon call.
Oh, I believe it, but I don't understand why. Well, maybe because it's not February anymore, and he doesn't have to believe in African-American champions. You know, like this was I don't have a problem with Becky winning. I would have put Bianca over to make her even more, you know what I mean, in a way that doesn't hurt Becky and that they can stand together and have a competitive wrestling match with no like big finish, you know what I mean, where she's taking a big bump. She just gets out wrestled by you know, what looks like a Olympic track star athlete, you know. There really wasn't any business done here, and it didn't help get Becky over because she healed out on her when everyone wants her to be a big baby, and Bianca looks like a goddamn fool with her pants on the ground. So that was a big problem. And if McMahon made that call, to me, then there's some type of backstage heat to do that. Because why would you not get over either talent fully when you have that opportunity?
Like I said, they're explaining it as the rumor or the word coming from wherever their sources are, that Vince wanted to make it wasn't a knock against Belair, but it had to be about Becky. Now, we're also getting reports out here that they had to move up Becky's return because of whatever's going on with Sasha Banks. They had to put her into that role. So they went to the direction that they're really going to launch into a heel mode beginning Friday on SmackDown.
Heel Becky?
Yes.
Why? Why would you bring her back fucking mugging and fucking slapping hands from the camera? That wasn't a heel. That was a heel way to do a finish, but afterwards she went right back to being a babyface. So they did heel violence, babyface fucking stunt afterwards, as opposed to getting the fuck out of there and having Bianca crying in the ring. And Becky's like, "Hey, the man is back, bitch. I don't know what to say." And off she goes. When you heel out on somebody, you got to leave with your heat. You don't stay there and act like you're the big baby face. That it was wrong, man.
Okay, so if the plan is to move her forward as a heel, why not capitalize that stage, that moment, have people buzzing immediately? You can keep the belt on Belair, have have Becky go out there and get this DQ'd. Start taking a chair to her leg or something like that and saying, "Hey, I'm, the man's back. I'm coming for that belt. You're going to feel it here." And I really like from Bianca, I think it was last week, maybe the week before, in an interview, she said, one of my main goals is to be the first woman to beat all the 4 horsewomen. The only person left on that list for her is Becky Lynch.
I don't even give a fuck what that means. That's
a little fire from the character.
It never got over with the girls marking out for themselves in NXT on some shit that didn't fucking draw 1 ticket. So if they're still thinking about the 4 horsewomen, like, that shows how in the bubble and clueless they are to me, because that was never established, never drew a dime. And that's some little locker room bullshit where during the women's revolution that they made into a marketing campaign. Really, most of those girls can't wrestle and they don't even know their business. Otherwise, they would have stood up for it and said, this isn't going to pay off the best way. But instead, they go along as yes women and do things like this because Vince changes at the drop of a hat beforehand. It was bad biz all the way around. Nobody got over, and it wasn't the right way to execute things.
In the other women's championship match, the fans are hot as she continues to get pushed, or something maybe pushed a little too hard down their throats. Charlotte Flair defeats the former champ Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley. Charlotte gets this by submission. Were you surprised that they pivoted? They went back to Charlotte so quick?
I thought Charlotte has a lot of heat on her with the middle finger to the crowd, live crowd, with her dad leaving because he fucking said, better fix my daughter's creative or fuck you. And they're like, oh, fuck me, fuck you. And now he's going to NWA, which will be a cool moment. And with Andrade leaving, like, all that to me is stacked up heat. So,
well, then she was just down there at AAA, and a lot of people were speculating if she would catch some heat backstage for going and visiting the other promotion and taking photos and all that. And
all that shit, bro. Yeah. Like, and them putting the belt on her where we think that's a reward in their minds. This sounds so fucked up and weird. It's not a punishment, but it keeps you locked in. You know what I mean? Be like, they got you and they're going to hook you that way while they know you're miserable, even as champ, and keep you guessing. That might be one of the few things that they have while they think, shit, we're going to lose her to AEW, put the title on her. Now she's in a storyline and she can't. We know they're addicted to gold and being on top. So that way, that's our leverage while she's showing that she don't give a shit. And it could all be a silent heat game of we're one. So they're trying to get over on her by making her champ and thinking that, that's going to keep her, where she's like, I know what you're doing, but nobody says anything about it. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing to explain, but like her moves and her family's moves that keep bringing heat on her. And then they're worried about her leaving. If they put her under there, that Charlotte's probably gone, right? Like she's like, fuck this place. So their only leverage is to make her champ while they're still hot at her. So it sends the confusion. You know what I mean? So it's a strange thing, but to be honest with you, Charlotte's the best wrestler they have. So why wouldn't you want to put it on your best wrestler and draw with legendary credibility? So I don't know. I would have kept Nikki Ash up here and let her slip over again because it's SummerSlam, and it would have been a good big baby face moment to have them go over. So I think this was improperly booked because Charlotte Flair's over. Doesn't matter. She's Charlotte Flair.
Absolutely. How they've been handling Nikki Ash. We had a great conversation about her last week and how, a lot of that is a rib. Ripley has been so misused as well in what she would represent NXT in her new direction. This is a bad women's division. I mean, is there anyone that emerges here as a serious challenger to Charlotte Flair? I mean, do you maybe go to Bliss? Do those styles work? Because we saw Bliss pick up the win over Eva Marie, and that was a complete disaster inside of itself.
Yeah. Dude, WWE women's division is trash right now, based on bad storytelling, based on not getting your baby faces over how they should be, and also doing little like tests and get back and payback. All three of those things are more important than telling a great story to them. And if you got any one of those roadblocks that you're fucking selling for, then we're already off course, man. You know what I mean? So I think the rib that was the marketing ploy of the women's revolution that made them believe it, they now are sitting in it with egg on their face and nobody wants to sell for it except for Brie Bella.
That was Nikki that said that. I found the headline on it.
It looked like Brie to me. I don't know.
You gotta look at the gimmicks to tell the difference.
But yeah, man, that was there really is no roadmap for success, whether they've marginalized Nia because of dangerousness, and even she's got the Tina Turner, look. How about the fact that they brought back Natty on SmackDown to wrestle? She had fucking surgery 3 weeks ago, bro.
Wow.
3 weeks ago, and she was on SmackDown wrestling this week, man. Like, something is seriously fucked up over there, dude. And everyone puts over, and I met him, hell of a nice guy, Tyson Kidd. What's going on over there, man? Not one, like everyone's like, Tyson Kidd is the new Fit Finley in a jeans. Maybe with finishes and technical he is, but these girls can't execute. And when it comes to creative, forgive me, what character had we ever seen from Tyson Kidd that people were into? You know what I mean? Not really his forte by any means. And what we're booking business-wise is all ass backwards, every bit of it, from the returns to the champs to the punishments. And when it comes to Rhea Ripley, she's 24 years old. We've been told that. But there's so many people telling her different things. You got to smile when you go out there. Well, I'm a fucking hardcore dominatrix heavy metal chick. Do they really
Thunderdome, whatever?
Right. No, they come out and go, fuck yeah, and look intense. Instead, she's slapping hands on the way down. Then she gets in the ring, hits her stupid little pose, and then she's a heel when she goes through the ropes. Like, there's too many mixed messages. And this young girl who has money written on her in her looks and is very unique and size-wise has no idea what she's supposed to be or what her character is. And that's because she's just trying to listen to too many cooks in the kitchen that are telling her different things. And she's trying to please everybody instead of saying, fuck you, this is my voice. I know what this character is and where I need to go with it. If she's going to smile, it's got to be some weird Joker smile after she does some heel shit, not
some kind of sinister looking.
Yes. I mean, she really could benefit from not just mine, but some acting coach and teaching of how to stick to character and how to build and da 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 da. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's another thing I was going to ask you. Who would you suggest? But there's so many names out there, and that's what's so ridiculous about it, that you could bring in women that have been there, that understand it, that could certainly elevate this entire division.
Why would they do that? Why would you bring it? They won't bring in anyone who would undermine and do things correctly that would expose the bullshit that they put
on.
You know, doing the right business is number 5 or 6 on the priority list at WWE. And those first 4 or 5 are all fuck you tests. Like, what did your boyfriend tweet? What, like all that shit, bro. Instead of going, best show for the fans, increase the numbers, increase the revenue, make the networks happy. Though that should be the path to follow. Instead, it's who can we fuck with? Who's bitching online and exposing and not doing their business? Who's got heat on them from their family or some other shit that we can apply fucking pressure on and have a power situation? You already have the power. You signed the paycheck. Stop with the other shit. Make the best show possible. And that's so far down the line that by the time you get through the other stuff, the show has suffered.
The show's already over.
Yeah.
Speaking of, though, if you want to catch what I am sure is going to be an incredible women's event, all women's event coming up this Saturday, the 28th, NWA Empower. Plenty of some of the Hamin Army's favorites are going to be there. Genocide.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to see Velvet's guys going to be involved there.
Yep.
Some great independent talents that are going to, people are going to be buzzing about. And of course, that's going to be all headed up by Mickie James, who the WWE just had in their pocket.
And, you know, could have done 1,000 things and been the den mother on camera for these women. You know what I mean? Imagine her and Beth Phoenix being the den mothers for each show, and people have to go to them. And both of them, forgive me, you know, Tyson Kidd might be a great technical wrestler. Both of those women are more over than Tyson Kidd ever was. You know what I mean? And can pass on great knowledge if they were not handcuffed by a bunch of stupid bullshit. You know what I mean? Where Bruce is hot at fucking Nick and it's going to get taken out on Mickie. Like, what, bro? Come on, man. You know, like there's so much more value on a brilliant mind and performer like Mickie James, nostalgia wise, beauty wise, and veteran wise, that we're not going to use them. And then what do they do? Send her shit in a goddamn garbage bag as a final fuck you. And then when that's exposed, they run with their tail between their legs like, oh, we didn't know it was Carano. And not that he's not a piece of shit and wouldn't do that, but they were all in on it too. And they try and save face, but it's all bullshit. It's all a lie. So, you know, the fact that they have those women and they still don't use them to the max value is very telling, you know.
We do have new tag team champs, one of the hottest acts in WWE right now, RK Bro, going over on Styles and Amos.
Yeah, this works. You know, people they've been building this moment of Orton being a baby with him, and it feels forced, but it was there. The shirts, the merch is stupid. You know, like a lot of the scooter, all that's dumb shit. Like, there's way more value in these guys being cool guys together than this clowny act. But, you know, that's a babyface SummerSlam pop. And that's where WWE outshines everybody. So even the stupidest shit, if we carry the soap opera storyline that far, the Saturday morning cartoon storyline that far, when it pays off, us as human beings love that feeling of, you know, getting what we want. And SummerSlam that's the goddamn party of the summer, pal. So we got to give them a feel-good moment. And they might be ribbing Orton by making him work babyface just to be like, ha ha, he's got to get out there and smile and slap hands. He hates those marks. You know, like
that's Orton.
Yeah. That's almost every wrestler, bro, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but Orton's just the one that doesn't give a shit. He just says it and shows it all the time.
Right.
We also have a new United States champion, Damian Priest, over on Sheamus. The chat room's buzzing about this one. People are, they're not hot on him. I mean, they're building heat in a good way. Seems like, especially in our chant, that they're behind Damian Priest.
Really? See, because to me, I looked at this match and was like, he's not over, because even though Sheamus is a heel with heat, there hasn't been heat leading into this how it should be, especially with Damian Priest just coming down trying to do a little Spanglish on Miz and Morrison TV. I'm like, okay, I get it, I guess. A lot of things, Damian Priest, who came out of Monster Factory and has had good training, still not ready for the main roster and what he does physically. That stupid ass fucking plancha in the beginning where he did the flip and barely hit Sheamus and came down on his left hip. I bet he's fucked today, bro. And all weekend, like the rest of that match, he was trying not to bump to his left hip because he pinched that sciatic nerve and he pinched it bad. You can go back and watch that and then rewatch that match and see how much pain he was really in. And Priest isn't over because we didn't have enough heel heat to get him over. We had him outworking the clowns and outworking the heel leading into this, as opposed to getting sympathy and empathy on him by having Miz and Morrison and Sheamus leave him laying for 3 weeks. So when he won the belt, the crowd was kind of lukewarm, bro. And you can see it through this match. Sheamus was actually having to work his ass off by stopping the offense and standing up and doing house show shit. You'll never get me gold. And like when a wrestler, a heel, has to stand up because the crowd's dead and do a spot like that to get a boo, fuck you. That's Sheamus being a good worker, knowing that we don't have him right here. I got to do something to get heat, to get a response. So when his comeback and fire up is coming, they'll be with it, because otherwise he'll fire up and it'll be dead fucking quiet. So that's Sheamus being a pro's pro and doing what he has to. You got 50,000 people and you got to pull that spot. We got problems, bro. That should tell you that this guy isn't over because they're not behind him, and the heels having to really work the crowd in a house show way to bring them into this match. And again, this guy's 6'6", 6'7". Stop doing fucking front flips over the goddamn rope, bro. Like, now you understand why. When you missed them and you barely grazed them and you landed on your own fucking sciatic hip, guess what? I bet he won't be doing no more front planches for a while. Guess what he should be doing? Character. Fucking, you know what I mean?
Well, I think he's one of those, maybe inside the ring, the character, but he certainly, as you were talking about, he needs some of that training as well.
Yeah,
those skits when he's out there, they seem to go on forever.
I liked his character in ROH as kind of the big man and shit like that.
What he's been doing with Miz and Morrison, though, with the water gun acts and all that.
It sucks. It's terrible. I mean, that's just the lowest of the low. So we're going from like a water gun bullshit act. Like, wasn't he like the Aztec warrior and shit like that, dude? Like, if you got Latino, play fucking Latino, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that's your squad right there. If you're going to do Spanglish, cut the promo to them in Spanish and watch everybody pop. You know what I mean? That's a good spot in like Texas or California. You know what I mean? Where and his white people, they usually go, what do they say? Like, but all the Latinos are like, fuck yeah, that's my dude. That's an easy way to endear him. You know what I mean? To even a smaller amount of people that may be in the crowd, but they're going to give you that back. So they just didn't get enough heat on him to make anything mean anything. And then in the back, didn't the announcer call him the new national champion or something? I saw a big Ray meme or some shit. So we even have ignorant people on camera who don't know. Their only job is to get that guy over and help facilitate it. And they botch the name of the title in their own spot, bro. Like, it just shows a lack of attention to detail. And also the people that you've hired are nothing more than communications majors with no WWE background or caring about the industry or saying this.
All you have to do is read the title. It's right in front of you. It has a big emblem of the United States on there. It says it square on it. So
right.
Hey, maybe they're going to rename it as he's going to go represent the homeland. He's just a national champion now instead of
just fire, bro. Like
I know it was just
these dime a dozen women. These dime a dozen women that they bring in to replace Renee or whoever, JoJo, and now we've got Kayla, the new JoJo, or this girl who I don't even know her name is the new. Every one of them is more useless than the last. They're just waiting for their own little Instagram post where they get to dress cute and fucking stand in front of the fucking photographer thing and get their little would-be wannabe model pose over. That's more important to them, that Instagram post of their own self-serving shit, instead of being the mean Gene Okerlund and serving the story and having a reaction or putting it over. They can't even, they can't be bothered to get the name of the title right and the lines right. It's about their experience and not the guy who just fucking landed on his hip from 8 feet in the air and fucking had to finish the match. So you're going to keep hiring shit, you're going to get shit. I'm sure all those girls are lovely human beings, but they don't give a fuck about our business at the end of the day, and their performance and their own self-serving shit on Instagram backs that up 100%.
Usos retain over the Mysterios.
Oh, was it Tiffany Haddish who botched the title name? I thought it was the other girl. If it was Tiffany Haddish, that pops me too. Well, then I'll give Tiffany Haddish a post or a pass. Sorry, but again, Tiffany Haddish out of nowhere, or you're like, okay, here's an interesting celebrity. What I would have done is something with her and Bianca Belair to show African American women empowered, one in Hollywood, one in fucking WWE, and give the shine that way before going in. Tiffany Haddish is a very hard working female comedian who, and I got to put her over for this, has helped a lot of comedians who wouldn't be able to break out on the camera and on screen. I know I've heard Godfrey talk about this, that he got a lot of breaks because of Tiffany Haddish opening doors for him. She's opened a lot of doors in Hollywood for people trying to break through, because somebody did it for her. And I respect Tiffany Haddish for that.
Yeah, it was her. She was the host of the after party. And that's
all right. Then I don't have a problem. Then I'll redact some of that fire that I spit on the other girls. But to be honest with you, that's what I saw. I don't even know the new blonde girl's name, but I saw her Instagram post today where she's standing in front of the white backdrop trying to look sexy. And well, she is sexy, and making it all about her. Like, it's not about you. Your job is to facilitate the stories that go and add a little bit through one question that allows that character to react to it. And then you react to their reaction, scared, happy, proud, Instead, they care only about their own little vanity metrics, bro. They really do. And it shows. And that goes for Aubrey as well, like stealing the moment. That one girl in WWE who's the ref, Jess, I saw, I think her name is, I saw Corderas putting her over, and I'm a big fan of Jimmy Corderas and his Twitter and saying the real shit, especially about AEW refs. He put her over, and I said, it's refreshing to see that young lady. She gets it. She stays out of the way. She's there to enforce the rules. She even did a hard count on Sheamus and was like ready to pull him back, and he had to turn and look at her and go, I can't hit a woman, but at the same time, it broke it up. And then she gets right the fuck out of the way and lets them go back and have the spotlight, as opposed to, I'm landing a 747 on everything I do, like just stealing.
After I just went to glamour shots to get set up for the
brutal. But that young lady in WWE who's a ref is really impressive to me, because of watching everybody else from announcers or other refs who are going into business for themselves constantly and pulling focus from the match. If I had a ref like that who was doing that shit in my match and I didn't have the spot, they would be getting promoted so hard as soon as we came back through the fucking curtain. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing out there stealing focus from us while we're taking bumps? You want to take bumps? Then fine. Next time when we turn around, I'm going to fucking, you count me, I'm going to clothesline the fuck out of you and you be dead on the ground. And believe me, man or woman ref, if they were doing that, they're getting all of it, because you want to be in the ring and you want to fucking pull focus. Here, I'll put the focus right on you. But believe me, you're about to bump and take one real step.
Again, Usos, they go over Usos over on the Mysterio family. I don't know if there's too much to talk about there. I'm not going to couple
how about the new Wu-Tang shirts from the Mysterios? Like, they took the Method Man shirt, so Wu-Tang Method Man just turns the W upside down, and it's even got the split across it, the same Mysterio. So I wonder if they'll be getting a cease and desist on that. That would be because ODB's family is going after. Old Dirty Bastard is going after One Dirty Bitch, which you can hear about this on Russo's brand.
Really?
ODB podcast for cease and desist for use of it, even though she's been using it for 16 years. And it's not like it's hurting ODB's money or his family's money. If anything, it's helping to keep his name alive. But I wonder if they'll go after for the same thing.
What else we have on some of this undercard stuff? Now, McIntyre and Mahal seem kind of useless on this show. Really,
that was shit. That was garbage.
Would have been nice to see them get a better opportunity. Maybe they'll have a chance to shine at one of the lesser.
I disagree. I think they're being booked like shit because they're best friends and they asked to work together in politics around creative. And now they're giving them the worst creative possible to test them and see if they'll take it with a smile on their face, because none of this shit is a draw. Jinder is fucking awesome as a heel and looks phenomenal, is everything you would want from a WWE body type and promo, and be scared of the brown man and has the backup. But Drew comes out and sticks a sword in a piece of styrofoam and then takes the sword out of the styrofoam. And walks it to the ring. Like, it's all just really, really bad, bro. And I think it's on purpose to be like, oh, you want to book your own shit? Okay, sure. We'll give you something. It's just bad.
Who does that come from? I mean, because is it Vince or is it?
It's Vince's sword that Triple H and Steph got him for a fucking whatever, and that Vince only knows Braveheart and fucking that's.
Well, I mean, who's intentionally giving them? Okay, you think you're gonna do? I mean, who's the one?
Deuce and Vince. Yeah, no doubt about it. They're the one. Like, that's their car ride of like. Probably McIntyre tried to politic to Vince because they were close and he didn't want to do what they wanted him to do. And then Jinder probably went to Deuce, and then Deuce and fucking Vince got together in the car and went, this guy tried to politic me there. Well, he tried to politic me. Oh, they want to think they can get around us by divide and conquer. Sure. We'll put them in a program together. We'll see how they do with this. That's how this shit happens. And then Shanky could have had they give Shanky some test and he fails with with flying colors, and then they wear him out with 34 times with a fucking chair to see if he's going to bitch about it. And they have McIntyre do the hit to see if he's going to bitch about it. And they're like, and I want you to lay it in there to do the hit to see if he will do it or not. Like, again, here's 4 steps of terrible backstage politics that hinder Jinder from fucking getting over at all and getting any storyline of believability going, bro. So 4 VKMs in the house. I see McIntyre's got the 107 numerology rating, but 4 VKM, give him a follow, you guys, at Andrew the Creator, and 4VKM.com just dropped a whole new, he says, his biggest video yet. I haven't even gotten a chance to see it yet. I know he sent me the link last night, but a brilliant, phenomenal producer and conspiracy theorist and propaganda master. So go to 4VKM.com or check out the number 4VKN, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Yeah, that's me, pal, on YouTube. And you can see his great work, man. We loved having him on the Conspiracy Horseman. What a brilliant mind.
Other big match here. This was, I don't know, maybe the best match of the evening. I really enjoyed it. Edge goes over by submission on Seth Rollins here.
Yeah. Brilliant work here. And one thing that I didn't care for on SmackDown was the brood bath. So they do the blood bath, and it looked awesome. He had the white suit on and all that, but it wasn't even blood. It was like dark purple, because they don't want to cross the line of the blood for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's some COVID shit that they didn't want to do. But, dude, use the fake blood. Don't do purple. It really took away from what it is. Like, it went from, like, they dropped blood on them to they dropped purple paint on them. Feel the difference in that? Like, yeah. Okay. But I did like Edge coming out to the brew. I didn't see maybe I was checking my phone. Did Edge come out of the floor at SummerSlam like old Brood style? I know they had the big snaking entranceway, because that to me, if you're going to do that, that's a big part of that, you know?
damn it. I think I skipped through that entrance because I caught it on a replay. Going through, but yeah, I mean, if you're going that route, I mean, you have to have that for that imagery and
or BK, I'm saying yes, he did come out of the floor. That's okay. Then I'll put that over because I missed that. But you're right, RBV. That nostalgia of them. Oh, that's coming out of the floor, right to the reversed soundtrack of satanic shit. Scott Woodford was black, not purple. You might need to adjust your tint on your TV, but it was definitely purple. But yeah, that stuff with Edge to get the nostalgia pop, and then even halfway down the ramp to go into you think you know me or whatever it was, that was all good stuff. And this match was the best match on all of SummerSlam. These two guys told a great story. I would be scared to work Edge like that because what story did they tell? The neck story. And this guy's got a surgically repaired neck, and they did no less than probably 9 or 10 big spots on the neck to work heat, which made this an awesome story, especially when Edge goes over with neck crank on him or what have you. But I would be very weary of like, dude, I don't want to be giving Edge fucking snapmares and neck breakers on the fucking ropes and shit. Anything could go wrong instantly, man. But it all looked solid. It was all there. There wasn't any time where like, Rollins is really extra protecting him to like make sure he's not. I mean, he did on everything. It was all there, but he let him have it, man. And this was a great story all the way through. And I would have been very nervous to work a talent like Edge working a neck story on a surgically repaired neck. Like if a guy tells me, and I get it, it's SummerSlam and the crowd knows it, but if a guy tells me or I know he's got neck problems, I'm working the fucking leg and ankle. I'm not going to be the guy who fucking paralyzes a dude. I had that with Mama Luke, man, when we worked FBI. Guy's got a full back brace on, and he's like, give me a back breaker. I go, are you fucking insane, bro? I go, if you want me to work heat on your back and we're showing the back brace, I'm just going to put you in a bear hug. Something safe that we can do. I'm not going to be the guy who fucking puts Mama Luke in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Does that come down? Is that Edge saying, you know what, let's do it? We'll show how, vicious you are as a villain. And giving that okay?
Yeah, and that's the craziness of wrestlers. The Edge is willing to possibly become a paraplegic if one thing goes wrong, like how sick we are with this shit to tell the story, but got to put Rollins over because everything he hit on him was solid and safe at the same time. Edge took a lot of pain in that. I'm sure he's fucked up today, but nothing that was too much,
Hey, his fault or not, poor Rollins hasn't had the best of luck with major injuries coming out of SummerSlam with his opponents.
Yeah, the Stinger stuff, right, and all that.
I think that was that at Night of Champions, but you had the Balor, where they did the buckle bomb into the wall. You had it where he kicked Cena's face off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was all around this time of year, but he hasn't had the best.
But to be honest with you, I'll put over that. There's not a new Seth Rollins. He's the same guy, but since he worked Dominic, Seth Rollins has been phenomenal moving forward. Up until that point, we had years of terrible ROH, indie, Tyler Black things that were in his bag of tricks that were done incorrectly for psychology. Even the Shield, that's taken 3 guys who are indie rotten or green, putting them together because then each one of them, it lessens the opportunity for them to kind of fuck up if they only have one little part to play. You know what I mean? That's why you put all 3 of those guys obviously have money written on them. Look at where they are now, each one of them individually, but it takes that long of a 5 to 7 year run in WWE till the light bulb finally goes on and you fucking finally get it. And it wasn't until the Dominic stuff with Rollins that he really got it. And since then, I've been impressed with him because I was one of his biggest critics, even though he did it superplex Falcon's Arrow falsy in this match. He's stopped doing that a fair amount, but a lot of that shit that he was doing that was reckless during Seth frickin' Hamin or when he was or Seth frickin' Rollins, excuse me, I got my own shirt mixed up. Or when he was Triple H light and he was Triple H's chosen one with the authority. all you watch those matches and you can still see all that bad ROH indie habits, and I'm seeing way less of that now, and I'm impressed with what he's done.
Very good match from these two here.
Yeah.
Let's go to what was an Iron Man match for one of these individuals. Goldberg goes 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Ref stoppage. He's on the on the losing end of this thing. Bobby Lashley gets him.
Dude.
Puts him down.
What is going on here? This isn't a shoot injury. It was worked, right? That I've seen.
Everything we're seeing now, it looks like with the rumors that this was just round one. The first battle in the war between these two. We're going to get more from it.
I guess, man, but like,
I don't think there's no one's clamoring for that rematch right now.
No, but like even Bobby Ashley was sitting there like, what is this finish? Did somebody call in something here? Like, is this a shoot? Like, because like it was confusing, and the crowd is sitting there going, what? This is SummerSlam, and this is how we're going to end a match, with a fake injury. This is what you do 2 weeks prior on Raw, where like Lashley goes, fuck you, we don't got to go to SummerSlam. Let's do it tonight in the main event. Let's see if you're a real fucking man, and I'll beat your ass in front of your kid, and I'll leave you laying. And then Goldberg's like, all right, motherfucker, let's go. And Lashley takes his leg out there. So it's questionable if Goldberg's going to be on the pay-per-view. So Goldberg goes into the pay-per-view injured, and then we can either beat him because of that injury and he had the big heart to do it, or he overcomes in front of his kid and the fucking wounded lion wins. You know what I mean? But you don't do that on the pay-per-view. The big pay-per-view, which is the second biggest, second biggest. Royal Rumble's probably third. It's a payoff, not a fucking extend the storyline time. This is where when you have 50,000, you want the biggest possible pop. So then when we come back to 10,000 the next night, we can tell the story. So this finish just left the crowd with their thumbs up their ass and going like, what the fuck? I liked MVP's shot with the cane to set it up, but that's to set up the heat. So when the heels go over strong, it's because they go, oh, well, he only beat Goldberg because the MVP fucked his knee up. And then they worked on it enough to when Goldberg was selling up on the hurt leg that he takes the spear and pins him 1, 2, 3. Not a fucking ref calls it off. Now the heat's on the ref, bro. And the babyface is a pussy with no fighting spirit. Really, really bad finish on this because they set the heat up. Boom. Nancy Kerrigan's him, turns around, takes the fucking spear. That should have been all she wrote right there, bro. You know what I mean?
I thought here from the chat, Sonic the Hedge Rat saying, since Cena got pinned, the heel in this match couldn't win by pinfall, but Lashley had to win. Were they looking for an out?
I disagree. Why can't your two dominant champions beat two guys that are nostalgia clean with a pinfall? I mean, I get you don't want to repeat finishes on some certain things, but then if I was going to do that, I would have tapped Cena. You know what I mean? And and I also would have put Nikki Ash over instead of Charlotte, so we didn't have too many heels because Charlotte has enough heat on her. Nikki Ash could have slipped over, and the two heel women could have fucked off out of the way just to take the one thing, and Nikki comes up after taking a lot of heat. So some not the best booking choices on the show, including Becky Lynch to take the audience on a ride. Because on the Becky Lynch thing, they were kind of like, what the fuck? On the Goldberg thing, they were definitely like, what the fuck? And there was another one that they were like, it didn't do the right business for anybody.
As you're looking forward to, I mean, wouldn't you want to show the dominance of Lashley versus Roman Reigns if they're going to continue on with what we've been seeing the years past at SummerSlam to see champ first champ? I mean, I know we got all these talks of The Rock coming in for something, but
that was the other what the fuck. What? So Brock comes back at midnight. Everybody's already passed out pretty much after 4.5 hours, and you're going to try and do the big pop to combat Punk. But why is he coming out to face the big dog? Like, that's the Rock spot. The match is Lashley versus fucking Brock, Bellator versus UFC, jacked motherfucker versus jacked motherfucker, black versus white. Like, you know what I mean? Two world destroyers. Big Dog is about the tribal chief, and there's a chief that's bigger than him that everybody knows. And it ain't Brock Lesnar, it's The Rock. So why would you have him come out to do that? That was the big head scratcher on the pop at the end of the night instead of doing that shit. If anything, Lashley should have fucking gone over strong on Goldberg, and fucking that's where Brock comes out to fucking face him down. So like really rough choices were made in 5 segments that were all with main event players.
Is it creative just thinking it's too easy to connect the dots because of the Hamin association?
Yes. Yeah, that's what it is the story is going to be who's Heyman going to choose in that. And that's not that's an all right story, not the best story. I hate to, I'm trying to not say things are wrong anymore. I try and look at things as a list of choices. And if I'm not going with my top 1 or 2 choice and I'm down here at 4 or 5, why? I have to ask myself why.
I think in my mind, you have bigger money later on with that. Let's start building up. Let's start laying, planting those seeds for the WrestleMania where you could double main event that Lashley versus Lesnar, Rock versus Roman Reigns. At that point, you have Roman and Brock emerge as your champions. Then you have this thing, okay, where does Heyman's alliances really lie? And then you pay that off at next year's SummerSlam.
Yeah, I guess so. To me, it would be have Heyman in control of both top guys.
Right. All the way through next year's WrestleMania, and then have them both go over, and then next summer tell that story.
I wouldn't even, yeah, absolutely. One of them can flip baby and have him in the middle. I agree. But we had way more other building blocks in the foundation till we get to that point. And now we've passed them and shotgunned right to the fucking top. And somebody's got to lose. So is Brock going to go under? And now he F5s Heyman. Are we going to get that moment? Okay. But there's a lot more meat left on the bone that we could have feasted on before we get to that.
Now we don't know what direction they're actually going in. I mean, they could somehow work the guy. I don't know what the difference is because we didn't have any altercation between them. So, I mean, they at least left that teaser. So, I mean, that's a little bit of intrigue to tune in to see where they're going. So Friday, but outside of that, inside of the match itself, what do you think about Cena's performance coming back? For our video game, Mark's there in the chat. I popped for his shirt. It looked pretty cool. The new merch, as we were talking about,
the titles on the back and shit. Yeah,
the video game kind of stylings there.
Mario Brothers 3 title gimmick. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if it sells, it sells. It's nostalgia, and it's right in the wheelhouse. Obviously, those fucking John Deere shirts sold. You saw 90,000 marks with them on the age 30 to 35, looking like they're 8-year-olds on the fucking playground. I don't understand that.
His Pabst Blue Ribbon shirt was a good seller. So, I mean, he moves it.
Dude, I mean, then that's what it's about at the end of the day is making money. I don't understand how a John Cena has 2, 3. I do understand it. 2 or 3 new shirts and merch. And then you have Nikki Ash with the mask and everything, and she doesn't have anything. You know, I mean, nothing for the little girls, nothing like that. It's just for these, tape trader masturbators that are 33 years old who want to dress like a fucking 10-year-old. Okay.
I had Brock did hit Cena with an F5 after the show went off.
Oh, did he? I guess. I mean, why?
The pop, I guess. I guess it would have been more entertaining to to make sure that they really sent home everyone happy if they went and revisited the creation of Suplex City and had Brock drop Cena again with 19 plus suplexes there. But overall, been good outing for WWE here, as you say.
Not really, bro. Like for their main storylines, they did lackluster business or didn't put heat on a heel or didn't get a baby face over Max. And those are the things that we should be trying to accomplish. So our crowd gives us the biggest pop possible. The Bianca thing, completely wrong. Fucking the Goldberg finish, head scratchingly bad. Brock Lesnar coming back to face Tribal Chief.
And I am the head of the table, the Tribal Chief.
Not the right move that way. And then I think Charlotte over was not the best choice either. So all that being said, from your top players, wouldn't you want your top players that are your money earners doing things that are going to get people to tune in? then these were not the best choices in finishes or re-debuts in order to accomplish that, in my opinion. And I would like to know why. Like, why are those? There's a myriad of reasons, heat-wise, politics, tests, or last minute, we're changing the finish because I don't want people to be betting on when they saw the sheets. Like this type of bullshit, bro. And to go till midnight and wait till Brock comes out at midnight, the crowd's burnt 4.5 hours. Most people turn it off at 11 and went, I'll watch it tomorrow morning. Like, you're trying to combat the CM Punk surprise. That they're just not the smartest use of your top tier talent. So I gotta say, man, somebody needs their fucking ass chapped on this one.
We did have a request this morning over from Facebook, the Hamin Media live discussion group. Yeah. I guess there was a photo that surfaced Vince McMahon meeting with, and there was a photo bomb there by Ducey, but Gable Stevenson, who just won gold wrestling at the Olympics. He's defending Division I champ. He's the Pan American Continental champion. I mean, this guy is damn impressive. Heavyweight. I guess he was talking with WWE. It looks like it could be a pretty incredible signing for him.
Yeah, it's too bad they lost. It's too bad they let Rusev go, because him versus Rusev would be a fucking phenomenal long-term storyline. And guy looked great. I thought the girl had great charisma when she came out slapping hands with everybody, and he was kind of healing. I was waiting for him to turn around and hit her with something. The way it looked, we had a baby in heel. I was like, this guy could be a ready-made heel if he took this chick out or tried to, and then she got over on him. She'd be even bigger baby face. So, but yeah, man, both of those American athletes, phenomenal look, charisma. And you can see the money on them both right away. I would have signed them both that night, to be honest with you.
Well, maybe we'll get word, maybe some reports surfacing that they are in those directions.
Yeah.
A couple notes. Don't want to dive too far as we're up against the clock here. You can get the full breakdown of NXT Takeover 36. That's going to be coming up this Wednesday with Big Ray and the Vet. They are. Hey man, they do a hell of a job. So they're going to break it all down for you. But a couple big things here, Ben. First, I guess we'll start with Samoa Joe defeats Karrion Kross to take the NXT Championship. Samoa Joe becoming a 3-time NXT champion.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to put Kross on the main roster, you got to take the title off him. You know what I mean? So that Samoa Joe and him then building a little bit. I wish Joe was in better shape, and to build the chokes just for Joe to come out of nowhere with it, even though he's been established with it. I'd like to have seen Joe winning with a choke, but he's he's whatever he is right now, Regal's right-hand man or whatever. But NXT, I think they look at it now. I think Vince has made the fucking thing like, fuck NXT, bro. I heard it's getting all revamped. It's now going to be pre-taped. They don't want indie. I even saw them like, we've hired indie wrestlers in the past, and that didn't work out for us. So now we're going to go and look at, well, it didn't work out because you don't know how to get people over. And people like the Dakota Kai stuff where they're trying to put money on her, or put time on her. I don't see any money there. Maybe as a little valet, annoying manager, but as somebody believable who's going to draw on the WWE roster, I just see that you're flushing money there. I'm sure she's a lovely girl, but I'm pretty good at looking at talent most of the time and going, yeah, that'll get over. But then and again, anybody can get over. She could be the Spike Dudley of NXT if she wanted to, instead of what they're doing. So I guess I'll talk myself out of the point. It's all about creative. It's not about drafts or who's going where. It's about investing in a long-term storyline with character development that can get anyone over. And they pay it off so quickly and so incorrectly so many times there that it doesn't mean anything. And if they think they're going to go hire fucking ex-NCAA football and basketball players and think that they're going to get anybody who's a worthy property, they're fooling themselves. I was in OVW exactly when that same shit was going on, the era of the big men, and one of them got over out of the 9. One. So, and he was the only one who was into wrestling. The rest of them were like, yeah, I just took the $200,000 contract. That's what I'm here for. And then now they go sell insurance, and no diss on insurance salesmen or anything like that. But that's all they have. Yeah. You know, because they're not into this shit. So
Walter also loses the NXT UK championship. Do you see them having any vision for him moving to the red or blue, or is he heading just back to the drink? He's had the title for so long. Is it just a switch? It was a hell of a match.
I haven't seen it, but I think this is the punishment for him. They've been waiting to try and do something to get it off him because he doesn't want to come to America and wrestle because of COVID and shit. So it's the fact that they probably asked him to do something. He was a man, stood up and said, nah, mate, I'm not doing that shit. I'm staying here until this shit passes. And they went, fuck. He stood up to us, and we can't take it off of him because he could then expose us for because of COVID, he didn't want to. But now that they were just waiting to be like, you want to say no to us? Well, fuck you too. And then they won't do anything with him after that. They'll put him on ice after they've lost that. I bet. Just for payback.
I mean, he's fun to watch, and he has a presence about him. But even that last time they brought him up in that Survivor Series match, they go out there and have him like the first eliminated, if I remember. And it was a disaster. It looks like, the contract expired. We've heard talks about a new offer on the table, but Adam Cole is a free agent.
So
you got teases right now. Of course, the Young Bucks are out. You know, they're teasing that he's coming to AEW. Old TK's on the same train. They're all out there teasing that he's on his way there.
Dude, I got to put Adam Cole as like a supreme worker to weasel his way into shit, bro, because he was on nobody's radar, and he weaseled his way into the fucking being the elite shit when they were in Japan. And you could see that he wasn't getting it and was like, hey, I'm part of the cool kids too. And because of that, when the Bucks went into the other thing, he got signed to NXT because WWE reacted to like, we got to break up that little being the elite clique, and we'll bring him over here and make them undisputed. So who else are their friends? Oh, Kyle O'Reilly and these guys from ROH are like their little clique. None of those guys got over. Not one of them. Go to any store you want to, shopping, grocery, or mall, whatever. I know you like going to the mall, and fucking ask 100 people who Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, and Bobby Fish are. And no, I'm not trying to disrespect those guys. They all work their ass off. They're all my brothers. But I'm saying to the point of like, is they make any mainstream wave whatsoever? No. And if anybody was to look at Adam Cole, they're not going to go, that guy is a badass professional wrestler, bro. Like, size-wise, lack of muscle mass. Does he have Tom Cruise good looks and can cut a promo and can chain? Abso-fucking-lutely. But nobody is going to be like, Adam Cole's here, baby, and he's going to fucking beat the shit out of Miro, and he's going to beat this guy and the other, and it's a new day for the elite and the fucking Bullet Club. And like, so my point is, I respect Adam Cole as a monster businessman to play both sides off the other, because all he had to do was worm his way into some viral videos, and WWE sold for it and picked him up. And then he never made it to the main roster. You know what I mean? They did the whole thing of NXT's a third brand, which is a complete lie and bullshit. You know what I mean? And it's developmental. And now after the fucking tryout, because he cozied up to Sean and Game and became their little fucking project, when other people get fired in these mass bloodbaths, he gets invited to Raw to have a sit down with Vince and offered $750,000. For what? He's proven nothing. That he hasn't proven he's a draw. He hasn't proven he's got a ton of people behind him. Just one little fucking baby fucking thing that was lame as shit, in my opinion, has gotten him to this point. So to me, that means he's a supreme worker and politician behind the scenes. And I got to tip my hat to him for the fact that you're going to sit down with VKM, get a $750,000 fucking offer, and you're still going to go to AEW only to be marginalized, which might show that he is kind of blind to it, because you got Tyler Black or fucking Aleister Black, Penta and Phoenix, all these guys who are way ahead of you in the pecking order, Moxley, Christian, but they're going to mark out. And now Tony Khan is going to mark out and offer him $1 million to come over there so they can do something with him and Britt together, because everyone's marking out for Britt right now. The guy, at the end of the day, in ring, whatever, I don't care, size wise, whatever, I don't care. That guy knows how to make money for himself by doing it with politics backstage and inserting himself into the cool kids club. So my hat's off to him. Do I think I could punch a hole through his chest in a real fight in 5 seconds? Absolutely. But guess what? He's on top getting $1 million offers, and I'm here doing the Monday Locker Room. So I can't hate on him to that degree, man. I really can't.
Hey, man, worker's going to work.
And he's doing it good, man, to be honest with you. To like work the top guy. He's working McMahon and Khan against each other from developmental. And even if he went to WWE TV, he'd be buried. Nobody's going to believe in him, bro. So knowing that failure is in his future, he got a $750,000 contract, dude.
So my prediction is tonight that Adam Cole opens up Raw.
If
I don't know, just kind of joke. It'll be interesting. I think it is intriguing to see where they're going to go with some of these directions this week. So at least that there is a little bit of that bait that's going to bring you back in for this week. But Ben, any other headlines you want to touch on before we get out of here?
Nah, man, that was a good recap of SummerSlam, a confusing show, but at the end of the day, I'm pumped because Punk drew 15,000 and sold out a house, even if it's in Chicago. I don't care, because that's a big momentum push. And WWE, even with shit creative for the last 3 years, sold 51,000 seats and had them packed to the rafters with no Hamin's Tarp Emporium. That to me is impressive. However, that can also be a strange false positive where they go, we're doing everything right and our creative is right on, when it's very far off the mark and could be so much better to get a bunch of people over. Did I go robotic there?
Nope, you're good.
All right. I saw my desktop redrawing, so I was like, oh boy. But yeah, man, that impresses me. That 66,000 tickets were sold in 4 days. And some of them, I don't know if that was a Photoshop job or not. I saw that some of the AEW tickets in the upper deck were $4.
Yeah, so, I had seen that they were even on some secondhand markets going as low as $2. But hey, at least somebody was willing to spend any sort of money to go to the wrestling event. So
I saw Nas for $3. So
yeah, there you go. Hey, VV Indiana is going to see you for free this Thursday. So.
They already paid more than what they're going to pay to see Hack, right? So, yeah, man. But when numbers are up and the business is doing good, we all do good. So regardless of whatever little creative choices or politics and shit like that, that's what made me most happy about this weekend wrestling wise. And glad to hear about the buzz, because people will be talking about Brock. They'll be talking about Becky Lynch and Cena. They'll be talking about fucking CM Punk. And I'm glad they're in our industry helping to drive things forward, because it all trickles down, man.
There we go. Well, Ben, good Monday Locker Room. I got thrown a little plug here again. Just remind everybody once again, this Thursday, VV Indiana, the Professional Wrestling Alliance, with my show there. We got the Swiss Wine Pro Wrestling Super Show. Ben Hamin's going to be challenging our top dog, our great American champion, Amos. They're going to be going one-on-one. I'm going to actually, no promises here, but it's generate a little buzz here. I have to go out there this afternoon, work through some logistics. Maybe we'll air that thing live right here on the Hamin Media Group YouTube.
Yeah, man. I'll be glad to beat the shit out of any alcoholic infidel in Indiana. That's no problem for me, man. Look forward to it, coming out there to the Swiss wine mixer out there. Everyone knows the Swiss stay neutral, so it's time for you to choose a side and Taliban up, infidels. I got to drop a propaganda video here this afternoon, calling them all out. But yeah, it's been a good weekend, man. Birthday weekend wise, with concerts, SummerSlam, and hanging out with all my wives, getting some good food. And now I got to hit the gym, make sure my cardio's up, and I'm ready to rock and roll to beat the shit out of Amos all day long. I hope you come out there. I'd love to punch you in the face too if you come out to my ring. I'd love to show you what it's all about.
I'm staying as far away as I can. Hey, I still remember when Big Ray took that face slap.
Yeah, you got one coming. So does Rad Rob, and maybe we'll let Man Beast. We'll let him go this time around. But y'all infidels, it's Hacker Happy Birthday Hamin here with the real RBV, doing a big SummerSlam teardown for you here on the Monday Locker Room. Not behind a paywall this week, infidels, but get ready because when Realm launches, you'll find us over there. So subscribe, Russo's brand. I know Jeff's doing a good job getting out the links to you guys, so check your emails from Jeff Lane. I'll make sure I'll have this show out later today for y'all. So if you aren't listening here with us live on YouTube right now, I just wanted to say thanks for sticking with us while we go through the revamp on anything. That's why figured I'd hit the live button today instead of making you wait for it. And it's my goddamn birthday, infidels. I'll do exactly what I want to. If you're a hater in the chat room, keep your hate alive. I thrive on it, and I've got plenty to give back. So y'all, RBV, we'll see you Thursday, infidels, in Vive, Indiana. Hacker Hamin invades. It's the Monday Locker Room. Y'all.